Welcome, car lovers. There was a time not so long ago when a man's choice of automobile was a statement of his competence. You chose a BMW because you understood the delicate balance of a longitudinal engine and rear-wheel drive. You chose it because you valued the tactile feedback of a steering rack that whispered the secrets of the tarmac directly into your palms. For 4 decades, the Bavarian Marquis has stood as the benchmark, the ultimate driving machine. But as we look toward the 2026 horizon, a fundamental question of legacy looms over Munich. Has the king remained true to his bloodline, or has he been seduced by the glittering, soulless promises of the digital age? The industry is currently in a state of profound agitation. From Stuttgart to Ingolstadt, there is a palpable sense of unease, a realization that BMW has stopped reacting to the market and has instead decided to redefine it. They call it the 2026 lineup. I call it a declaration of war. We must begin with the patriarch, the M5. To understand the gravity of the new 2026 model, one must remember the E28 and the legendary E39. These were cars that could carry a cabinet minister in absolute silence at noon and embarrass a supercar at 1 o'clock. They were the definitive sleepers. For 2026, the M5 has undergone a metamorphosis that will either be hailed as a stroke of genius or condemned as heresy. It is the first high-performance hybrid M5. It pairs a formidable V8 engine with an electric motor to produce a staggering 720 horsepower. In the old world, 720 horsepower was the preserve of fighter jets and Italian exotics that required a team of mechanics to follow you in a van. Now, it is available in a 4-door sedan with a heated massage function. The performance is, by any objective measure, remarkable. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour is dispatched in a mere 3 seconds. It is a violent, relentless surge of momentum. However, one cannot ignore the physical reality of the batteries. This is a heavy machine. The engineering truth is that while the electronics can mask the weight, they cannot eliminate it. It handles with a precision that borders on the supernatural, yet one wonders if the telepathic connection of the old naturally aspirated days has been traded for sheer, brute force computation. If the M5 is the heavy hitter, the 2026 M3 remains the sharpest scalpel in the drawer. While the world retreats into 4-cylinder hybrids, BMW has had the courage to refine the 3.0-liter Inline-Six. This is an engine configuration that is woven into the very fabric of the brand's history. For 2026, it delivers up to 550 horsepower. It is available with NextDrive for those who value all-weather traction or traditional rear-wheel drive for the purists among us who still believe a car should be steered with the throttle as much as the wheel. The silhouette of the M3 is purposeful, aggressive, and unapologetic. It does not possess the understated grace of its ancestors, but it is not the M3 causing the most significant panic in the boardrooms of rival manufacturers. That distinction belongs to the new M7 Turbo. For years, the Mercedes-Benz S-Class has sat unopposed on the throne of executive luxury. The M7 Turbo is BMW's attempt to not just challenge that throne, but to melt it down. They are calling it an executive supercar. It produces 720 horsepower, a figure that seems to be the new benchmark for Munich, and combines it with a level of opulence that feels more like a private club than a cabin. The silhouette of the 7 Series has always been a point of contention, and the 2026 model continues this tradition of polarizing design. It is vast, upright, and imposing. It does not arrive, it occurs. Inside, however, is where the true revolution lies. Or perhaps, the true distraction. There is a 31-inch 8K rear theater screen that descends from the roof. It is a triumph of theater, certainly, but one must ask, are we building cars to be driven, or mobile cinemas for people who find the scenery boring? Furthermore, the M7 Turbo introduces Level 3 autonomous driving. The car can under certain conditions take full control. To some, this is the ultimate luxury. To those of us who actually enjoy the act of motoring, it is a bridge toward a future where the driver is merely a passenger in his own life. The 2026 8 Series offers a more traditional form of solace. It is a premier grand touring coupe in the grandest sense. Whether you opt for the 335 horsepower Inline-Six or the 523 horsepower V8, the 8 Series is about the journey. The proportions are classic: a long hood, a swept-back greenhouse, and a muscular rear haunch. It is art in motion. Inside, the materials are of an exceptionally high standard. The leather feels like it was sourced from cattle that were raised on a diet of Mozart and silk. It is a quiet, dignified place to be at 70 miles per hour, or indeed at 150. However, we must address the glass cockpit in the room, iDrive 9 and iDrive 10. In their quest for modernization, BMW has migrated almost every function to a curved glass display. The physical buttons, those wonderful tactile knurled knobs and switches we once used to adjust the temperature or the volume, are largely gone. They have been replaced by menus buried within menus. For a man who values the simplicity of a well-made watch, this digital complexity can be frustrating. You find yourself taking your eyes off the road to perform a task that should be muscle memory. It is a triumph of the software engineer over the interior designer, and I am not entirely convinced it is progress. For those who find the flagship models too large or too digital, the 2026 M2 is a beacon of hope. In an era of forced electrification and automatic everything, the M2 maintains a manual transmission option and a pure rear-wheel drive layout. With 473 horsepower in a compact chassis, it is perhaps the closest thing to the spirit of the original 2002 Turbo. It is a difficult, demanding, and utterly rewarding car to drive. It does not suffer fools. It requires your attention, your skill, and your respect. It is a reminder that BMW. Similarly, the Z4 Roadster remains in the lineup, offering a lightweight soft top and a choice of 4 or 6 cylinders. In a world of SUVs, a two-seat Roadster feels almost rebellious. It is not the fastest car in the stable, nor the most technologically advanced, but it possesses a purity of purpose that is becoming increasingly rare. It is about the wind in your hair and the sound of the exhaust, echoing off a stone wall. It is a car bought with the heart, not the spreadsheet. At the other end of the spectrum is the X1. We must be honest, the compact SUV is the bread and butter that funds the development of the M cars. For 2026, the X1 offers a plug-in hybrid variant with a 50-mile electric range. For the daily commute or the school run, it is a sensible, well-engineered tool. It lacks the soul of its larger siblings, but it brings BMW's engineering standards to a segment often characterized by mediocrity. The base 241 horsepower engine is adequate, but the 322 horsepower hybrid is the one that provides the effortless progress one expects from the brand. Then there is the flagship 7 Series and its electric twin, the i7 Series. With up to 650 horsepower in the electric variant, the i7 is a masterpiece of silent, relentless torque. It is perhaps the most refined way to travel on 4 wheels today. The silence is absolute. The ride quality is as if the car is hovering 2 inches above the pavement. But again, we return to the theater screen and the digital interfaces. It is a formidable achievement, but is it a driver's car, or is it a very fast lounge? The 2026 lineup from Munich is a paradox. On one hand, you have the M2 and the Z4, which honor the heritage of the good old days with manual gearboxes and internal combustion purity. On the other, you have the M5 and the M7 Turbo, which are pushing the boundaries of what is possible with hybrid technology and silicon chips. The panic felt by other brands is justified. BMW has managed to do something their rivals have struggled with. They have covered every base. They have built an EV that feels like a luxury liner, a hybrid that produces more power than a Ferrari from a decade ago, and a compact coupe that still lets you shift your own gears. But what is the engineering truth? The truth is that we are witnessing the end of an era. The 2026 models are likely the final evolution of the BMWs we grew up with. The weight is increasing, the screens are growing, and the mechanical connections are being replaced by wires. If you value the physical sensation of driving, the weight of the steering, the sound of an engine that isn't being piped through speakers, and the simplicity of a dashboard that doesn't look like an iPad, then the M2 or the M3 are your final ports of call. They are future classics, the last of the Mohicans. If, however, you are ready to embrace a future where 720 horsepower is managed by a computer and your rear seat passengers can watch a feature film in 8K while the car drives itself, then the M5 and the M7 Turbo will be revelations. My verdict: BMW has not lost its way, but it has changed its destination. They are no longer just building machines, they are building environments. Other brands are panicking because BMW has proven they can master the new world without entirely abandoning the old one. But for the man who remembers the smell of hot oil and the click of a gated shifter, these cars are a bittersweet reminder of how far we've come and perhaps how much we've left behind. Bochi the M2 while you still can. It is a piece of engineering integrity in a world of digital hype. As for the rest of the 2026 fleet, they are formidable, remarkable, and technically superior to almost anything else on the road. But whether they possess the soul of the ultimate driving machine is a question that only time, and perhaps a very long winding road,